everyone, I'm glad you're here. Thank you very much for joining me. It's Tuesday, the day after Christmas. I hope you had a blessed Christmas. I did. We all went over to my daughter's house. Yep, I am blessed. 6 grandchildren I have now. I was thinking about the movie Scrooge, Ebenezer Scrooge, how he had all the money in the world, or a lot of money, but he had no family to spend it with. He drove them all away. Tiny Tim's family, they were dirt poor, but they were blessed with the happiness and joy of the love of each family member and each child. Christmas is not about the presents, it's about family and friends. And there's many people who don't have children, can't have children. Well, they could always adopt. You could adopt the little girl or little boy down the street. Not actually adopt them, but take them under your wing. Spending time with them, sharing your knowledge and experience, and love. That's what Christmas is about, not just the birth of Jesus. This isn't really the time when he was actually born. He was born probably in September, but many of the pagan beliefs have been adopted into the Christian religion. So this is the time where families draw together and give thanks for Jesus, our Lord and Savior, and for the blessings of our friends and families. So here's your news roundup. It's the weekend news roundup. I normally try and put it on Monday for the weekend news roundup, but because I was with family, I'm doing it today. This is one thing that's tearing families apart, is the substance abuse in rural America. This article comes from Castlewood, South Dakota. Yeah, drugs are just too abundant here. Give you an example how bad it is across America. It's not just the big cities. Even though South Dakota voters decided they wanted recreational marijuana here in our state, our governor, who evidently is probably going to be running for president, God help us if she does run for president or even gets elected, she decided that our vote didn't count and challenged the recreational use of marijuana, and it's no longer, or it's not legal here in South Dakota. Medical marijuana is legal here in South Dakota. A family member about a year ago was arrested for having marijuana. I went to court to see what was going on, to get the full details and what would happen. And out of all the cases that were up before the judge, there was at least 55 of them that I saw. They were all for the use of probably fentanyl, other than the one case for my family member. They were the only one for marijuana. The judge was probably just as shocked as I was, and she says to the young man, do you want to go to jail? And of course he said no, and she threw the case out. Threw it out. Yeah, I think she was shocked. He was only there being charged with having the possession of marijuana for recreational use. As I said, there was at least 55 cases before his that was all for fentanyl use. Either making or selling, distribution, the usage, etc. In other news, Taiwan expands Russian sanctions to stop tech being used for weapons. The list includes equipment made for semiconductors, the production of which Taiwan is the world leader in, as well as certain chemicals and medicines, adding to previous announcements which already targeted the chip industry. They didn't have sanctions before. It was only supporting the other countries in their sanctions, but they were not participants until recently. Yeah, better prep up for what's coming for 2024. This is about the recent activity there in Israel with Hezbollah. This one here says Hezbollah fired from within a mosque in southern Lebanon towards Israel. This is not Hezbollah's first attack involving a holy site today. Place of worship should be sacred, not sacrificed for terrorism. The war is going to expand, probably first with Lebanon. The oil prices are going to skyrocket. Remember all of the Afghan translators, etc., that the U.S. left behind when we pulled out of their country? Well, many probably thought they were lucky when they got into Pakistan and were waiting for U.S. resettlement. Yep, more left behind. Pakistan evidently recently deported a huge population of Afghanistan. They are forcibly repatriating scores of Afghanistans awaiting the resettlement in the United States. An advocacy group and Afghan applicants say, adding that Pakistan authorities often ignore the U.S. Embassy letters of protection. Evidently, global stocks crept higher on Tuesday, and the dollar lingered a near 5-month low, as investors held fast to bets that the cooling U.S. inflation, our economy, will lead the U.S. Federal Reserve to cut interest rates next year. They're saying that the El Niño, I believe it's called, weather patterns, the global 2024 staple food supplies will be strained by dry weathers. Exports are going to be low. You think food prices are high now? Well, it's going to be even higher next year. Another good reason to stock up. When you go to the store, just don't buy one. Buy at least 2 of everything you may need and put it aside. A good way to fight inflation. A possible cyber attack is being blamed for a widespread power outage in Israel, according to reports. Evidently, their internet was also out, and there was word that Netanyahu and his cabinet had been sent to bunkers. Now, this all came after Iran's senior official was killed by Israeli airstrikes, and that took place in Syria. The man that they killed was a brigadier general, and he was in charge in shipments of munitions going to Lebanon and probably Yemen and different places. Yeah, probably also the Gaza Strip. Yeah, all the elite are getting ready for war. Here's a Twitter post that says, I revealed that Joe Biden was building an underground bunker in his Delaware home 2 weeks ago. A week later, it was revealed that Mark Zuckerberg, along with 14 other billionaires, are all building underground bunkers. All these will be completed before the winter of 2024. And there was posted from Newcastle County the contract for Joe and Jill Biden for their underground bunker for the permit. I also posted an image at that time, this was probably an hour ago, of all the ship traffic going on through the Red Sea, and this is Yemen, where they're firing at taking hostage different cargo vessels. There was at least 2 large shipping companies that had put out the word they're no longer going to be traveling through the Red Sea. Well, Hapag-Lloyd decided Wednesday that they are going to return, but they will have military escorts. Russia announced it's going to be increasing its military personnel to 1,500,000. Sergei Shoigu says, let us remind you that the current strength of the Russian armed forces is 1,150,000 personnel. Ukrainian forces evidently blew up one of the large landing ships there in the port of Crimea. Russia has admitted that Ukraine did destroy one of its large military vessels there in the port of Crimea. They're claiming only 1 person was killed, but I'm sure a lot more were killed. It was a huge explosion and actually blew out all the windows to the homes and businesses quite a distance away. It's one of the larger landing ships. Reuters has a video of it exploding. Yeah, there was more than 1 person killed. And I believe this video also shows all the windows that were blown out. Look at the fireball. Yeah. The weapons, evidently, that Ukraine used came from France and England. So there might be some kind of retaliation, retribution for that. Well, I can't find the pictures, the images of the glass that was being swept up, but Yeah, it was a mess. Yeah, a lot of damage. The other shipping firm that stopped traveling through the Red Sea, Maersk, is also preparing to resume its voyages through that area. Again, also, it's going to be with military vessels protecting them. Now, that brigadier general that Israel killed was in the city of Damascus. Remember, that's one of the prophecies for the end time that we're supposed to watch for, is when the city of Damascus is completely destroyed. Sayed Razi Masami, he was an Iranian official allied with the militant groups in the region. It says here was a longtime advisor for the Iranian Parliamentary Revolutionary Guard. Iran-backed groups in Yemen, Lebanon, and Syria and Iraq have launched attacks on Israel and its allies in support of Hamas. President Joe Biden orders strikes on an Iranian-aligned group after 3 U.S. troops were injured in a drone attack in Iraq. I'm going to watch this later today. I rented on Amazon Heaven's Gate. It's about a cattle war that occurred in Wyoming in the 1800s. Many of you may have been watching Billy the Kid and the cattle wars that were going on during his time. So I thought this would be a good movie to go along with that. It's called Heaven's Gate. I posted about an earthquake that occurred, I believe late last night there in the Dominican, or off the shore of the Dominican Republic. A magnitude 5.3. It actually occurred on the Puerto Rican Trench. A link to a video of a cat that likes to walk like a horse because he grew up on a horse farm. Kind of like the Clydesdale. He picks up his feet real high as he walks. There was a full moon visible on the live webcam over Yellowstone volcano this morning. That was a first for me to see. That was cool. The woke agenda is it's going global. Tampons now offered in Canadian Parliament's men's bathrooms under Trudeau's new policy. How many trans men who dress as women are in the Canadian Parliament? I don't know. Marjorie Taylor Greene said she was swatted on Christmas Day with her family. This is the 8th time. The police showed up. Some phone call was given to the police saying they were at her home and going to do a murder-suicide. In France, a privately chartered airline with 276 passengers was held after a probe for human trafficking. Evidently on the plane was like a 18-month-old baby unsupervised. Who in the hell would put an 18-month-old baby on an airline without one of its parents or guardians? These guys came and knocking on doors. You might be a little wary about it, but they're actually going around door to door and singing Christmas carols. Yeah, it was kind of a cute little video. Yeah, there they are and they're singing. Did you know that the tradition of the Christmas pickle, actually whoever found the Christmas pickle first was the one that got to open the first present and then hand out the rest of them to family members? Yeah, people are getting fed up about porch pirates. This comes from Oklahoma. Porch pirate caught on camera stealing. Yukon couple takes the matter into their own hand. They actually went to the person's house, recovered their packages and multiple other people's packages that, these porch pirates stole. They had put up images of the car. It had a bashed-in fender, and they put up pictures on social media and asked for help. And there was actually a police officer who lived in the location that told them where the car was at, who owned the car. So if the police officer knew that the packages had been stolen, why didn't he help to investigate and return their property? Drink cups for children on Amazon is being recalled. 80,000 children cups sold on Amazon being recalled lead contamination. Evidently, the solder that was used for the metal was lead. The FDA issues a warning for counterfeit Onzerpic following a U.S. drug supply chain. Yeah, counterfeit. This is used for type 2 diabetes. It's like, OMG. Last I heard, they didn't even know what type of chemicals were in, the containers that's used for diabetes, but it definitely wasn't for diabetes medication. A Russian icebreaker, says here, nuclear panic as fire breaks on an icebreaker container ship. That was up in the Arctic. Different earthquakes up there by volcano in Hawaii, a 4.1, a 3.4. Yeah, they've been rocking and a rolling. In Ilion, New York, a small town is devastated after gun plant shuts down. 270 jobs lost. Yeah, Remington. Scientists raise the alarm about zombie deer disease now in Yellowstone, jumping to humans. It hasn't happened yet, but they figure it's just a matter of time. It's also known as chronic wasting disease. Israel said they found the bodies of 5 Gaza hostages in one of the tunnels. They removed the bodies, then blew it up. A chemical tanker in the Indian Ocean has been hit by a drone from Iran, all the way from Iran, according to U.S. military. The first time America has specifically blamed Tehran regime for targeting a ship. We're already in the beginning of World War III. You guys need to prepare when the war breaks out even more, because they have threatened to blow up all the oil production there. Yeah, you're not going to be able to afford gasoline for your car. Can you imagine how high your energy prices will go? The day after the U.S. Defense Department said that a drone launched from Iran struck a chemical tanker in the Indian Ocean, Iran's Navy showed off its new cruise missile. Yeah, and they got an image of it here. Let's see. There's different boats going through the Indian Ocean. This isn't even the Red Sea. Let me go back over here. There's the weapon that they were showing off. Yeah. I don't know why they targeted it. It says here, the Liberia flag, Japanese owned and Netherlands-operated chemical tanker was struck at approximately 10 a.m. local time in the Indian Ocean, 200 nautical miles from the coast of India. Founding member of the band, the Dixie Chicks, was killed in a car crash. I believe that happened Friday. Myself, I believe that Iran does have nuclear weapons. Any country that doesn't have nuclear weapons, we would have attacked them long time ago. Iran's nuclear breakout. 'Twas the night before Armageddon. Tehran is only days from a nuclear breakout, not weeks or months. Iran already has processed sufficient masses of 60% highly enriched uranium to assemble nuclear bombs. They could use the uranium for dirty bombs. Wouldn't be the giant mushroom cloud, but would still be devastating with all the radiation that it would spread out. But yeah, they're just days away, evidently. Originally, when the Chinese balloons, multiple balloons, were flying over the United States, the Biden administration didn't want to tell the people. They wanted to keep it secret, even from Congress. But when the public saw the balloons and started talking about it on social media, they had no choice, but they weren't going to tell you. This woman posted a video on TikTok. Her husband sells guns and ammunition. And evidently with the new changes to the gun laws, once an illegal comes into the United States and they go through the processing of whatever, making their court date and all that, they can now buy weapons. Can you believe that? An illegal who illegally entered our country can now buy guns here in the United States, according to the changes they made in August. New York, Chicago, and someone in California or some city in California now wants to hire these illegals to be police officers. I would not trust an illegal who decided to break our laws to come into our country to own firearms. They're already going door to door begging for food and money. Migrants in New York City are now going door to door begging locals for food and money. Yeah, and there was multiple videos and the people talking about, this happening. Yeah. So say you got an illegal migrant who came into the country, they got their court date all set up, and they managed to they get more money than I get every month from the U.S. government. Free medical and, all kinds of stuff from the taxpayers. What if they went and bought a gun and then decided to go door to door begging for money? It's a scary thought. This is a very cute video. This older man in his 80s was in a drive-thru at McDonald's, and some woman behind her was honking and swearing and all kinds of rude comments she was making to him. So he got up and to pay for his food, and then he paid for her food too. She was behind him, and then she started waving at him and saying, "Thank you, thank you." So when he got up to the drive-in window to pick up the food, he showed the person at the counter, he had the receipt for his food and her food, and he took her food too. So she'd have to go back in line and wait even longer. Said he repaired her rudeness with kindness. It's a cute video. Smart guy. I have a t-shirt that says, don't mess with old people. The older we get, the less time in prison, life in prison is a threat for us. Another cute little meme. It says, it's a bad neighborhood when you see a bird with an ankle monitor carrying a knife. This little video shows them beating up Rudolph, and it's playing the song Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and how they wouldn't allow him to play the games. And Santa, of course, made him the lead reindeer because of his glowing nose. But these reindeers here were just stomping and beating up poor Rudolph. A video that I posted about Quilcene, Washington. They had a magnitude 4.0 earthquake. It was along the Seattle Fault. The Seattle Fault connects to the Tacoma Fault. It's capable of having a magnitude 7.5 earthquake. Evidently, cat turd has been swatted. It says the local cops are great and know what's going on. Someone called up and said, some kind of act of violence. I like cat turd. Another cute video says, what would you do if I broke into your house? And this is a video posted by a woman who lives in the South. Look at his teeth. Holy cow. It says, now just hold on a minute. Calls him Skittles because of his teeth. And she talks about her pew-pew that she owns. And you need to watch that. How they're going to stand up for themselves and all that good stuff. It says, you're going to send your soul to Jesus and let him sort it out. I shared this video of a man dancing to his favorite song with his son. This is a really well-made commercial. And the boy growing up, and the same song plays throughout the whole video. I don't know how long it is, about a minute long. There he is, he's dancing. But as the boy gets older, he no longer finds it fun. He starts finding it embarrassing. There they are, and he's older. But look what happens next here. So he's in the restaurant. The song comes on, and see his irritated look. It's like, oh my God, Dad, I can't believe you're doing this. You're embarrassing me in public. But as they get older, the boy's all grown up with a family of his own, getting all tongue-tied, and he hears a phone ringing, and he opens up the package, and there's his son with his own little boy. I'm getting all teary-eyed here. And he's playing the same song and dancing with his new little boy. Yeah, generational. Yeah, very good commercial. A Jewish man was assaulted on a bus at LAX airport. The person harassing him appears to be an Instagram influencer, Tommy Lee, who has 5.4 million followers. She started cursing him and yelling, so he pulled out his phone to record, and then she tried to smash the phone out of his hand. Yeah, she's one of these social media influencers that people are constantly following. Yeah, assaulting a Jewish man. Shame on her. Now another good video. These dogs were fighting through the glass, and the dog comes in, gets a drink of water, and then goes back outside to continue their fight through the glass. Look at that. Yeah. Pretending they were fighting. And he just stands there and waits for him to get his drink. Waits for the little dog to go back outside. Look at that. Yep. Showing teeth. Yeah, so vicious. Another cute video. This chicken actually climbs into the dog's mouth. And look at the look on his face. And then he spits him out. Yeah, and gives him a little nudge. Look at that. Just climbs right in. We need some humor, don't we? There he is. Spitting him out. You ever see such a thing? This man here collects the hair of his cats, and he puts it in one of those suet cages and hangs it up so that the birds can come and collect the hair from the cat and fill it with their nests. Yeah, he's got the cat, and look at all that hair. I should have done that with my dog. Actually, I just brushed it and left it outside and the birds could pick it up, but that was so very thoughtful. At least it wouldn't blow away. And yeah, see, pulling the hair out, gonna take it to their nest. That is so cool. Another Twitter post talking about rednecks of the South and all the guns that they owned, and how he was gonna move to the South. Yeah, he says if the foreign troops decided to invade us, by the time the military showed up, there wouldn't be any troops, but the ground would be all covered with shotgun shells and other types of shells. The war would be over because of all the rednecks. Yeah, we'd take care of our own. This Twitter post says, for the first time ever, all 27 billboards in Times Square went dark, then lit up with the story of the birth of Jesus Christ. This was just truly amazing. Yeah, I would have liked to have seen that. They probably don't have it up anymore, but all the people that stopped and were taking pictures, yeah, of the billboard. Yeah, it was quite spectacular. Yeah, young and old. Look at that. Isn't that something? Evidently there in Toronto, Canada, this is a line of people for one of the local food banks. Over 2 million people are now in need of assistance for food because everything has gotten so expensive, or they lost their jobs, or rents have gone up so high. It's either pay your rent or don't eat, or eat and don't pay your rent. 2 million people now in need of food in Canada. Yeah, it used to be a really wealthy country. Well, so did the United States. This is a post from Washington, D.C., but it's across the country. I read an article where in Oakland, people were calling 911 and being put on hold for over an hour for emergency services. It's can you imagine? You got someone that maybe a bad accident or a heart attack or a seizure, and you're put on hold for an hour. Yeah, they were having protests there in Oakland about this. Oakland, California. So I hope everyone has a prosperous and happy New Year. I think the New Year is going to be worse. We're already seeing the beating of war drums for World War III. Inflation, outrageous, threats to our oil there in the Middle East. You think 2023 was bad? Well, it's going to be worse. You need to be prepared. Yeah, have extra food, some sort of backup for power outages. I said in one of my videos how I pulled out my Blue Yeti power station. It's 2,500 watt, I think. It's been sitting for about a year to make sure it was still charged. It still had a full charge. So I would highly recommend you save your money to get some kind of power generator for backup for if power goes out. You don't know. It could be a cyber attack. It could be an ice storm, a hack, anything like that. Yeah. So anyways, please be prepared. Thank you for watching. Please stay safe. And I'll talk to you later. God bless you. Bye.